Hello, Port St. Lucie High School. My name is Melissa Eunice, and I work for the City of Port St. Lucie. Welcome, Ms. Boehm's class. I'd like to give you just a couple of housekeeping rules, just for teachers or the class. Please keep your volume on mute so we don't hear you, and then you also allow the panelists to answer uninterrupted. And if you want to see us in full screen, just turn off your webcam and you can see all the panelists in full screen. I wanted to let you know that with 56 videos were submitted by 4 schools. So due to time constraints, not all the questions will be answered. Some of the panelists will have a combined total of 20 minutes, and they're going to probably speak within 3 minutes. We have actually a countdown timer, and when we play the video, they're going to have about 3 minutes to answer your question, just due to time constraints, because we have another school coming on at 10 o'clock. So first of all, I'd like to introduce the panelists. We have in the middle right here, we have Councilwoman Jolien Caraballo. We have to the right of her is Assistant Chief Richard Del Toro. To the left of her is Communications Director Sarah Prohaska. And then on the end, we have Utility Billing Connection Support Manager Gina Linsley. And then on the far left over here, Community Outreach Coordinator, Port St. Lucie Parks and Recreations, Robert Chenier. Thank you very much for everybody being here. So we're going to go into the first question. The first question is for Councilwoman Jolien Caraballo.
If an algae blooms in the St. Lucie River, can it be controlled? It will benefit our whole community. What is our connection to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission? And what are we doing to prevent another bloom of the blue-green algae on the Treasure Coast?
Thank you, Alexis. That's a great question, and thank you for being concerned for our environment. The algae bloom in the St. Lucie River, or the algae blooms that you're familiar with, are usually from the releases that you see from Lake Okeechobee. And that is from an abundance of nitrogen and phosphorus. And the second part of your question, as far as the fish and wildlife is concerned, we partner with them for multiple aspects, but they're a state agency, so that agency is separate and apart from the city. So when they ask us for help, we always find a way to try to help. And then also sometimes we reach out to partner for different aspects in the city. But I want to get to the third question and spend most of my time there, because that's the most important thing, is how can we prevent another algae bloom on the Treasure Coast? And there's a few things that the city of Port St. Lucie is doing. Currently, we have a project called the McCarty Ranch, where we actually take about a little over 20% of the water out of the North Fork St. Lucie River, and that water gets cleaned within what we call areas, and then eventually when it gets released back into the water, and it's clean water. And that's a great project. And in addition to that, it also stores water, and that water storage is going to provide clean water for over 500,000 residents in the city of Port St. Lucie in the future. We also do what is called a microbial tracking study. And so we've checked different areas that we have water storage throughout the city to see exactly what type of issues we're having, if any. And through these microbial tracking studies, we've actually found some hot spots throughout the city, and we make recommendations to the citizens on how we can improve that. One of those big programs is called the Septic to Sewer Replacement Program. Some homes have septic and some have sewer, and the homes that have septic can leach, and I don't want to be too graphic, but your poop essentially into the water. And so with that, it goes into these different hotspots, which eventually can affect the river. And because of that, we have a grant program available for septic to sewer. In addition to that, I want to give you guys some tips that you could be helping us with, and I think that that's really what's important. This has to be a community effort to improve our water quality. Number one is, if you have pets, please pick up your pet waste. Make sure that it's not going into the swales, and pay attention to the things around the swale. That's really important. Also, there's a fertilizer ordinance, and if you help your parents out cleaning and doing lawn maintenance, please make sure that you're following that fertilizer ordinance, because those give you the guidelines of when you have the most runoff, and the nitrogen and phosphorus is what affects these algae blooms. And then also remove your grass clippings, because also those grass clippings can go into the swales and then also go into the waterways, which can cause a challenge as well. And most importantly, there's water cleanup activities throughout the entire area. I know there's things that we do here in St. Lucie County as well, Martin County, partner with some water teams and some of the Indian River Lagoon teams. And we also partner with them to do some cleanup activities throughout the community. So I thank you very much for that question. I know the other panelists are waiting to answer their questions, but please contact the city if you would like to volunteer. We would love to have your help. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Our next question is for Assistant Chief Richard Del Toro, and it's DeAnthony Callowood.
My name is DeAnthony Colwood, and I live on the east side of Tiffany in Port St. Lucie, and there's usually a lot of waste and litter lying on the side of the road, and I was wondering, what are the fines for littering, and what are we doing to enforce them more?
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for that question, and again, thank you for caring for the environment. Overall, we have a very clean city. In fact, according to the Litter Index, which is a tool used to gauge the overall appearance of a city, such as indicators of litter, illegal signs, graffiti, we have a very clean city. On a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being the worst, we rate as a number 1. So that is actually very good. But like anything in life, we're either getting better or getting worse, and there's no maintaining. So I'm glad that you brought this to our attention, and we can talk about it a little bit. Our fines, first of all, are $150 under state law and city ordinance for a first offense, and they go up progressively from there if you've been caught a second time littering. Most of the littering enforcement we do is usually from cars, where officers observe someone littering, throwing cigarette butts or trash out of their cars, and we've written hundreds of littering citations over the past year. Some of the other things we're doing to bring awareness and enforcement is Keep Port St. Lucie Beautiful encourages people to adopt their street. I adopted my street where I live on Dominic Avenue, and I routinely patrol my street and pick up litter. We have over 100 square mile city. There's a lot of roadways here, so the city can't do it all by themselves, and so we encourage our citizens to get involved and be a part of that. So I would encourage you to adopt your street or adopt your area wherever you're living. We also have litter crews out there that are constantly going around and policing things. So if you see something out there, you can contact the littering hotline, which I believe is 871-7000 for that number, and you can contact the litter hotline to report any littering you may see or that needs to be picked up. We do yearly citywide cleanups that we partner with our community to do, and also we're out there with code enforcement doing enforcement daily. So the last thing I want to bring to your attention, though, the city has adopted a litter eradication action plan. We call it LEAP, and it's a 5-step plan to help us achieve our strategic goal of being a safe, clean, and beautiful city. And there's 5 things we're trying to do as part of that plan, which is education and awareness, infrastructure, partnership, enforcement, and incentives. So thank you again for that question, and I hope you get involved with this and adopt your city street where you live. Thank you.
Thank you, DeAnthony, and thank you, Assistant Chief Richard Del Toro. We appreciate that. The next question is going to be for Communications Director Sarah Prohaska. It is student Cassandra White.
My name is Cassandra White, and I am a senior at Port St. Lucie High School. I have noticed that the COVID-19 pandemic has affected the travel and tourism industry, especially in Florida. What exactly is the city of Port St. Lucie doing to promote tourism during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Thank you, Cassandra. That is a very relevant question right now. And so as you know, the COVID-19 pandemic caused the travel and hospitality industries, especially hotels, attractions, restaurants. They were really some of the hardest hit industries in the state, in the hardest hit sector of our economy. And we saw this here in Port St. Lucie, across the state, in St. Lucie County, across the nation. And so here in Port St. Lucie, we partner with the St. Lucie County Tourism Office to promote tourism across the county and the city. And once travel restrictions began to lessen, our county's tourism office launched a recovery campaign. And data revealed that people were still willing to travel. The people who were willing to travel would most likely be driving. So they and the city, we worked together to target our top drive destinations in the city and in the county. So we looked for people, we looked for ways to bring people in to drive into Port St. Lucie and St. Lucie County. The objective was to drive demand to our hotel partners who experienced huge revenue losses. The county's tourism office also executed a paid digital campaign with Expedia, the travel online travel booking platform to push St. Lucie County hotel deals and Port St. Lucie hotel deals to their potential visitors. There was no direct cost for our hotels to participate, so that was great. And they took a chance on a more edgy ad campaign approach that would stand out from the ad clutter, because we know a lot of other counties and cities are doing this. So here in Port St. Lucie, though, I just want to talk about a couple things that we're doing strategically to help promote tourism in the long run. And those are to create some destinations here in the city that we know will attract people from outside of our area and, of course, people inside of our area to want to come back to. And one of those things is we're revitalizing our riverfront area, and we're calling it the Port District. So we just continue building a Riverwalk Boardwalk extension, and it'll come to a landing spot where we're building Pioneer Park, which is going to be a state-of-the-art playground. Hopefully we'll have a waterfront restaurant in there one day, and that will we'll have an event lawn with an amphitheater. We do river nights out there right now, but that whole area is really an exciting project for the future. Another exciting project that the City Council just talked about this week, so it really is moving along, is our adventure park. We're creating an adventure park over off Crosstown and Cameo. And that we're looking at a flow rider, we're looking at ropes tracks, BMX courses, and they're really looking at making that a state-of-the-art attraction that will bring in people from all around the state, hopefully all around the country. So those are two things I encourage you to go onto our website and read more about, because they're two really exciting projects that will help tourism in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. That was great. Thank you very much, Communications Director Sarah Prohaska. That was a good question, Cassandra White, so thank you very much for submitting that. Our next question is from Shannon Suarez. It is for Councilwoman Jolien Caraballo. Ready?
Hi, my name is Shannon Suarez, and I'm a senior at Port St. Lucie High School. On Village Green Drive, there are several safety hazards for people and animals on that road because there are no streetlights. Can we expect streetlights to be installed on Village Green Drive, and if so, when?
Thank you, Shannon, for that question. And just real quick, what I would like to say before I answer it is that I'm glad that Port St. Lucie High is on this call, because I'm a former Jag, so go Jags. And I'm excited to be with you guys. But Shannon, when it comes to streetlights, it's important to share the differences too. So when you go on Crosstown, and by the sidewalk there on Crosstown, you're going to notice those pretty posts that have streetlights. Those are the ones that we install as a city. Then you have the FP&L poles. Those are the ones that tend to be bigger, or sometimes that you even see in your neighborhoods. And those streetlights are installed. There's actually a cost to the taxpayers. It's about $26 a year that's charged per resident for those streetlights. It's a democratic process, which means that if the neighbors in the area request those streetlights, then in turn, they can do a petition process, and it goes for a vote process, and then you can get streetlights in your neighborhood. In regards to Village Green, we are doing a Village Green a plan. We're updating that area currently. And we're looking at different partnerships, as well as with the state and the federal government, to improve the sidewalks, the bike lanes, the landscaping, and the overall area altogether. And so what I will do is that if it's directly on Village Green Drive, is I'm going to pass this along to our Public Works Department, since you've provided the request, to check it out and make sure that we have enough lighting out there. But a lot of times that lighting is also regulated by the construction and the actual road. So usually it's set by standard and by state standard of what needs to be out there on an arterial such as Village Green. But it's a great question, and I'll have someone make sure to check it out and see if we need more streetlights. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shannon. That was very, very informative question. Councilwoman Jolien Caraballo, thank you so much for answering that. Okay, our next question is for Assistant Chief Richard Del Toro. It is from Marcellus, and he's in grade 12.
Hello, Mr. Del Toro. My name is Marcellus, and I'm a senior at Port St. Lucie High School. I would like to know, what do you guys do to make Black kids feel safe?
Well, good morning, and thank you for that question. And I really thought a lot about this question when I first read it. And I looked at it from two different points of views. Number one, I wanted to ask you a follow-up question, but I know we can't really interact during this session, did you mean what are police doing to keep black kids safe in general terms, or did you mean what are the police doing to keep black kids safe during encounters with the police? Because that is part of a national discussion right now, and it's a question I get asked quite a bit in our community as part of our race relations forums that I attend. So I wanted to answer from both points of views to give you general terms and then what we're doing during police encounters as well. So in general terms, first I want to just bring up to the fact that the city of Port St. Lucie is now the 7th largest city in the state of Florida. There's over 900 cities and towns in Florida, and we are the 7th largest now with a population over 200,000. I'm very proud and happy to report to you that for the last 10 years, we've had the lowest crime rate, making us the safest city in Florida with a population over 100,000 residents. I hope that makes our residents feel safe. I hope it makes you feel safe. But rankings really don't matter if our community doesn't feel safe going about living their lives each and every day. So our mission at the Port St. Lucie Police Department is to provide superior customer service and to remain one of America's safest cities. It goes back to that strategic goal of being clean, safe, and beautiful. We use a very sophisticated crime reduction strategy that combines the use of crime analysis, evidence-based strategies, and what I mean by that is what has research shown us over the last 25 years to help us reduce crime and keep a safe community. And lastly, we combine that with accountability. We hold our troops to the highest standards possible, highest accountability possible, and that starts at the chief's level all the way on down. So that's what we're doing in general terms to make our community feel safe and addressing their quality of life issues and anything that they bring to our attention. That's part of our customer service model. Lastly, I want to talk about what we're doing during police encounters. I feel like policing in general gets painted with a very broad brush. What we're seeing across the country isn't exactly what's going on here in Port St. Lucie. And that's because, in my personal opinion, there's over 18,000 law enforcement agencies across the United States of America. Only 800 of those agencies, 4%, are nationally accredited. I'm very happy and very proud to say we are one of those accredited agencies. We're one of those 4%. And what does accreditation mean? It means we follow the best practices in law enforcement. We get evaluated every 3 years by an outside commission to make sure we're meeting over 492 standards. Those standards are everything from how we drive our cars to how we use of force to how we take complaints from our citizens. They make sure that we're following the best practices before they give us that recognition as being an accredited agency. So one of the things that I talked about earlier is that I attend many forums on race relations. And one of the campaigns commonly known as 8 Can't Wait, which is an online campaign to bring immediate change and reform to policing, gets brought up quite a bit. And those 8 things are, and I just want to touch on them real quickly, is ban on chokeholds, require de-escalation, meaning we try to resolve things at the lowest possible level before using any type of deadly force, require a warning before shooting, require alternatives before shooting, duty to intervene, meaning our officers intervening if we see someone using too much force against a suspect, ban shooting at moving vehicles, require a use of force continuum, and require comprehensive reporting. Those things get brought up as part of the 8 Can't Wait campaign. I'm very proud to say we have been doing those things for many years, and that's one of the reasons why we are an accredited agency. So I hope that makes you feel safe to know your Port St. Lucie Police Department, your police officers here have the highest standards and highest training possible. I want to encourage you all at the schools, if you haven't done so already, to make partnerships with the officers that are your school resource officers. They love you, they care about you, they're there to protect you and keep you safe. We have many officers that are involved in the community and charitable organizations like the Boys and Girls Club, Children's Home Society, Place of Hope, and many more, such as coaching and things like that. I also encourage you to get involved in these community conversations that we're having, such as the race relations forums on race relations and inclusion. The city hosts them every few months. Please get involved. We'll answer your questions. We can have a great conversation. The most important thing is listening to one another's points of views and having a very educated discussion. And lastly, I'm very happy to announce the start of a brand new program that will be introduced at all the high schools across Port St. Lucie this year, which is the Model Traffic Stop Program. This is a program we're going to go out and teach kids what to expect during encounters with police officers during traffic stops. I know there's a lot of anxiety when you first start driving, and the last thing you want to do is worry about getting pulled over by a police officer. We're here to do two things during traffic stops. So number one is educate our drivers on safe practices, but also if we have to, we do enforcement through warnings and citations. But this is going to build a lot of trust, I think, between our officers. It's going to show you what to expect during an encounter, how to act during a traffic stop, so we don't see any unfortunate incidents. So I hope that answers your questions, number one, in general terms, but also in what to expect during encounters and what we're doing to keep our community safe. So thank you again for that question. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Ms. Bowen's class, I really want to thank you for submitting those questions. They were very, very well done, very informative, if you have any follow-up questions, reach out to me, Melissa Eunice, through Lydia Martin. She has my information, and the panelists will get back to you on that. We really appreciate it. We wish we could do this in person, but times are different right now. So again, thank you again, Port St. Lucie High School. We really appreciate you, and see you soon.